Assalamu alaikum everyone. You are watching live with Sehar Kamran, and I am here today at the residence of Ambassador Sangpyo. He is the Ambassador of the Republic of Korea in Pakistan. Thank you, Excellency, for giving us time. We have been fairy tale stories of South Korea, that how in a very short span of time has been an impressive development, and the country today is the 4th largest economy in Asia and 10th largest in the world. So my viewers would be interested in knowing that what is the secret behind this story of success, and how in a very short span of time the Republic of Korea has developed from a country which was facing chaos and poverty and was depending on aid to today an economy which is an innovating power, which has technology advancement.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for visiting my residence. I'm very honored to have you to talk about that Korean development stories. Korea, if I explain a little bit for the Korean development case is a kind of a prototype of a success story from the developing country. In 1960s, Korea was a least developed country, and then right now we risen up to the economic power. Korea is, as you know, that one of G20 companies, G20 countries. G20 means that high power, very strong power of economic countries group to discuss about the world economy. So in the development story, Korea is one of the cases how the developed country can develop itself. So if I tell that the Korean experience to develop itself, first of all, we made our strategy to develop. As you know, that first our strategy already comes from Pakistan. We learned of those days something from Pakistan. It was 1960, and we focused that our strategy. One of the strategy to investment, high investment to education, because Korea has not enough natural resources. But we have human resources, so we focus on the investment of human resources. That was the first part. Second part, Korea is not so big country in terms of territory. So we need a huge and bigger market. So our development strategy, the other one is focused on that global market. So we actively participated in the globalization process. So right now, many Korean companies are multinational companies. We sell our product over the world. Two things are our main strategy to development, and we successfully implemented our strategy. That's our case. And if we see that lesson from our development stories, that means that every development country can be developing country can be a developed country. Korea was that recipient country in terms of development, but right now we are a donor country. Why not the other country? So like Pakistan, Pakistan has a different situation, different circumstances. That means that Pakistan can develop own development stories. Development strategy. I think your government tried to do very well on that. One is high investment to education. It's very important. Every country needs that investment to human resources. And second one, your country have good resources for tourism. Yeah, you have you has one of three main world civilization, Indus civilization, and also you have Buddhist cultural heritages, and you have a very beautiful scenery in northern area. So need to develop that kind of tourism industry and use that your natural resources for your development. So that's the case that you can develop by yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Excellency. It's like so heartening to listen about the success story of the Republic of Korea. And you have rightly said that exactly there are many examples that we can take from South Korea, especially the development of human resources. Because now it's interesting to note that taking the example for Pakistan and not leaving the example for Pakistan and many other developing countries. And you have also rightly said that about the tourism, and that yes, we have four seasons, we have the archaeology, we have the history, and we should develop our tourism also. Excellency, how do you see the bilateral relations between Pakistan and South Korea?
So I was very surprised to know that the volume of bilateral trade between Korea and Pakistan. Pakistan is a huge and big country, but actually our volume of bilateral trade volume is only a little more than $1 billion US. But think about that, the Korean total volume of trade over the world, it more than $1 trillion US. That means that the portion of volume of our two countries' trade only 0.1% of total Koreans' trade volume. Very low, very low. So very small. So we need increase our trade volume. I think that 10 times, 100 times more potential to increase our trade volume. That's my thought.
But what are the fault lines? How you identify why we could not, develop the good trade and economic relations? And we have bilateral relations. Many South Korean companies are working in Pakistan. But why we could not, develop a stronger economic and trade relation?
When I got here, I arrived here in Islamabad in last December. I met lots of Pakistani people who already have experience for trade and investment in every relations. They told me that before 2000, Korea and Pakistan had a huge relation. Even before 2000, I mean that 9/11, many Korean tourists came to Islamabad, Pakistan, to see the Buddhist heritage. But right now, the volume of trade not so increased a lot, and tourism exchange is so bad. But right now, Pakistan, you said that the terrorist threat and other security situation have all gone in my perspective. And even though some incident for terrorist attack to this country, but still doing well. I see that recently your cricket team won the won the game. That game also restarted. So actually, in Korean case, Korean companies start to invest a lot here and start to increase trade volume, with Pakistani counterpart and companies. So I'm very optimistic to increase our trade volume together. So, but in the long run, we need a free trade agreement. Because Pakistan has a good product for agriculture, but trade of agricultural product are not so easy in everywhere, in every country. But if we have a trade agreement, free trade agreement, so it's a little bit easier to trade. So first of all, I guess that in the long run, we need a free trade agreement between the two countries. So that was my one of priority to do here. So we have lots of to do work together.
So what hindrance do you see in formalizing the trade agreement? Why we couldn't get it mature or materialized as of now?
You know that Korean concerned authority, I mean that in charge of authority in charge of trade agreement, they are very busy. So we should suggest very good cases to speed up conclude the free trade agreement. But in the case that we need focus more work on that, but still now we tried, but not so successful. But I think it would be good. But as I told you that there are some bad images for Pakistan, the insecurity and something like that. But I guess that right now everything is going well, and so it's the right time to restart that, speed up, conclude the free trade agreement and all the trade and economic relation between the two countries.
Yes, you have rightly said that today we are a very peaceful country, and you mentioned the cricket and Pakistani team. They won 2 important matches against India and against New Zealand, but it was unfortunate that we missed them playing the match here at our land with New Zealand, because New Zealand team left on the same day when the match was scheduled. But exactly, our team didn't give up, and exactly, I would like to congratulate the team also, and thank you for mentioning them. Excellency, exactly what products do you think Pakistani products can find market in the Korean Republic? What, like other than agriculture? You mentioned agriculture because as you have said that there are less natural resources in Korea, and I've also visited that food security is one of the issues. So how we can collaborate in this field?
Right now, traditionally, your leather industry and the textile industry are so strong. So some of textile product and leather product were imported to Korea. But you know, textile product you can sell to other country in Europe also. So you need find. I mean that Pakistan need to find other product to export Korea, but it's very easy. For example, right now Samsung Electronics, they are establishing building assembly line in Karachi for mobile phone products unit. So as far as I know that by the end of this year, Samsung Electronics will set up their assembly line in Karachi. In the case that they can produce Samsung mobile phone in Pakistan, and right now Pakistan market has a huge demand for the Samsung mobile phone. So for now, they only can sell to the Pakistan, but we expand facility of assembly line, and we produce more mobile phone here, and then why not can send export back to the Korea and other country. That's the strategy. And also we have other Korean mobile and Korean auto companies, Kia and Hyundai. They only sell their car in domestic market. But why not sell back to the Korean market? So there are many cases because that Korean market situation, I mean the labor cost and manufacturing cost are so high. So some Korean product comes from other country. We made factory and we import back. That's very good cases. So very not so difficult to Pakistan find that export goods product by itself. If you have a good environment for inducing, hosting, inviting investment, all that investment can be your asset to export some product. So don't have to find any specific item to export. Make a good investment environment. It makes it helpful for your economy and your export.
You are watching Live with Sehar Kamran, and I am here today at the residence of Ambassador Sangpyo. He is the Ambassador of the Republic of Korea in Pakistan. Is there any consideration of technology transfer also?
Recently, we have a project in agricultural area. Since 2 years ago, we set up a COPIA office. COPIA is the Korean Agricultural Technology Transfer Corporation agencies. They set up the office in Islamabad. COPIA is working with Pakistani Agriculture Research Center, already executing one project, potato seed production project by the technology of vinyl greenhouse and aeroponic, they say aeroponic technology. So that makes the good potato seed potato. In the case that Pakistan will have a self-sufficient country, will be a self-sufficient country for seed potato production. That's the one case we are working on, that technology transfer. And I guess 2 months ago, administrator of Korean Rural Development Agency, when he visited here, he's in charge of the Agricultural Technology Corporation. He paid a visit to Prime Minister Imran Khan. During the meeting, Prime Minister asked more agricultural technology transfer cooperation. So we are expanding our cooperation. So one of cooperation we added is the small farm machinery cooperation. So in that area we are working on that together. That makes the technology transfer. That's the official area, but in private area, if more investment from Korea comes, so that automatically make the technology transfer to local Pakistani companies. So I think that the most important thing is that more investment to Pakistan from Korea and other countries.
Okay, other than Samsung, what are the main companies of South Korea are working here in Pakistan, and if you can tell us more about the projects they are working?
Right now, other than Samsung and Liye and Hyundai, we have a huge investment from Korean construction companies, especially in the area of hydropower dams, and most of they invested to there. In Kaibo Paktunkwa area, recently, a Korean construction company like Lotte and also a hydropower company, K-Water, they had not exactly contract, they received approval to build hydropower dam. One project, Lospaka Dam project, it amounts $1 billion. The other one is 500, I think, Askedam power hydropower project. 500 million thousand. The two projects were approved by the KPE government. So in hydropower sector, we have a huge investment like ongoing. And small companies, I was told that are starting to invest here. So, but I need, and already we have a chemical area, Lotte Chemical, and in chemical area, in Karachi, we have a Lotte Chemical Factory, and also some of them. But we need to increase our investment. That's my point.
Yeah, it's important because, you know, power industry and like energy are the areas where Pakistani definitely need to excel. I have visited Seoul and I visited Gangsu, if I'm pronouncing, if I'm pronouncing rightly, and the power plant there. So, do you think that exactly we can have like, you know, a collaboration and have like power plants here in Pakistan also?
I guess that right now projects are ongoing. So why not? So right now audit issue with the Korean hydropower companies, even though they got the approval to build the hydropower dam, but the process is too long, so they couldn't start the work. That's the one issue. So to cooperate in that area more is very promising, but issue is that their co-work and their work should be very quickly implemented. That's the point.
Yeah, I think we need to mature these projects because it's good for both the countries, and exactly since like today Republic of Korea is an innovation leader in technology, so Pakistan should benefit from it. So is there any like, you know, opportunity for Pakistanis to have training and education in the Republic of Korea?
Yeah, right now we have several programs in the area of education. We have a Global Korea Scholarship Program. Already every year, 20 Pakistani students benefit that scholarship program. But 20 is not so big number, but and not important. You know, in Korea right now 1,500 Pakistani students. Most of Pakistani students they benefit scholarship from the university because that most of them are very brilliant students. They are entitled to receive the scholarship. So. Government offer only 20 scholarship for Pakistani people, but the university provide many scholarship to Pakistani students. That's very good case for me and for Pakistan. And one bad news I heard from Korean Pakistani ambassador in Korea recently, 200 Pakistani students cannot enter Korea due to the COVID-19.
Yeah, that's another tragedy.
Yeah. But when I see that all the list, I think most of them already got the scholarship, but they cannot get into the Korea.
How can we ease their entry? What can be done? Like exactly now the vaccines are available, and like I think people are getting vaccinated. So how can they, you know, overcome this hurdle, and how can they go and continue their studies?
So we need wait for the audit more, but every country in the world, they are back to the normal. Korea are right now starting to back to the normal. So I think pretty soon we will open that all the Pakistani students to study in Korea. I'm urging that government, but it's issue. Not issue only in Pakistan government with other countries same because of pandemic, but I'm confident that in couple of months all the border control limitation and will be lessened, and I expect that we start again the good exchange for the education, and so I hope that.
Yeah, 20 is not a big number for the scholarships. Any consideration of opening any campus of Korean Institute of Advanced Science and Technology in Pakistan? I think if you consider that, it will benefit more students, and exactly if the institute is here, it will also help our students to excel in science and technology.
Oh, recently I received a couple of Korean people who staying in Pakistan for 10 years. They will open the Korean university here pretty soon.
Okay.
Global Korea, the Pakistan Global Institute, the PGI.
Okay.
Their department of university are all the science technology, but they say that right now almost that bill to establish a Pakistan Global Institute are approved by the National Assembly, and it will go to Senate. So in the case that the first Korean university will open in Pakistan, and other project with your government and Korean Technology Institute, we call it KAIST. That project right now start to discuss together. But as I told you, that one Korean university, but that's totally a private university, so not government initiated. But I found that still one Korean university will open in Pakistan, and other government side we have a discussion with your government to open that Korean campus of KAIST here.
Yeah, that will be, I hope we see that realizing one day, because even if it goes to the private sector, it will be more affordable for the students who are here in Pakistan, and rather than traveling anywhere, if they could learn here, if they could study here, it will open many opportunities. You have already mentioned that education is the key to progress.
Yeah.
Excellency, what are the opportunities for Pakistanis in South Korea? What are the fields where exactly they can find opportunities?
Pakistan is a huge country. They can find the potential to work with, do business with Korea in every sector. One of the sectors is information technology. The Pakistani students are right now very strong in that area, IT area. So we can cooperate in IT sector also. In that occasion, Korean government provide IT center in Islamabad and also in Karachi. And that is one of the starting point to cooperate with Pakistan in the area of IT. So right now, Islamabad IT center project is ongoing. Almost we are starting to build that IT center in Islamabad, and 2 months ago, we have a MOU to build the IT center in Karachi. So IT sector is one of the key points we can cooperate each other, and there are many areas to cooperate.
There are many encouraging initiatives in the pipeline. And other than like IT sector, is there like opportunities for the labor market?
Labor market already you have a good skilled worker working in Korea. We have agreement to open the to receive the every year 500 Pakistani worker in Korea. But demand is so high because Pakistani workers are very skilled and very good. So every year we invite the total number of Pakistani workers 500. So my plan is to increase that the threshold right now 500, but to increase more. But as I told you, that unfortunately, because of pandemic situation, Pakistani workers cannot easily enter the Korea. The new workers right now blocked to enter. Only the existing Pakistani workers can come and go. So, but I think that the labor market also need more Pakistani workers. So in terms of labor market, I think that once the pandemic ends, we will have a huge increase in that area, I mean, in the labor market.
I think in the maritime sector also, the requirements, they should know the language, they should have the skill certifications, or what, like exactly what are the basic requirements?
You know, normally, I guess that the maritime area and agricultural area, there are some restrictions in every country. But good point, most of the Pakistani workers, labor, they have a good command of English. That's one of the most important requirement to work in Korea. And also, as I told, that the Pakistani laborers are very good quality. So I guess that the maritime area also, if once we invitation to invite the labor to that area, I think no problem. But as I told you, that the agriculture and maritime area, there might be some restriction. So I need to check up with that. But maritime area also a good area to increase our cooperation.
Yeah, I believe also with like the desalination plants which Pakistan needs very badly, especially Karachi and our port areas. If there are desalination plants, two major issues of like, purified water and energy, both can be addressed. And I hope that we further progress in this area and collaborate and see that one day Pakistan is also moving towards innovation and the technology advancement. Excellency, how we can jointly promote culture and tourism? As you have said that there are Buddhist sites in Pakistan which are of interest to the people in Republic of Korea, and there are many historic sites in Pakistan. And similarly, what are the attractions for Pakistanis in the Republic of Korea, and how can we learn from the culture, how we can promote jointly culture and tourism?
Fortunately, recently Korea and Pakistan signed MOU to promote and protect and promote Buddhist heritage in Pakistan. That includes donation grant of $4 million from Korean side to Pakistan. And so last week, I guess that a couple of weeks ago, I had a meeting with the Secretary of Cultural Heritage Division in Pakistan. We had hold a small event to officially launch that our MOU and start very quickly work to develop and promote Buddhist heritage site here. So that's the concrete project Korean government doing in Pakistan. If that project going well, that means that the Pakistani Buddhist heritage site be upgraded. That leads to that more tourists from Korea and other countries to see the Buddhist heritage. So I guess that current project to protect, to promote Buddhist cultural heritage in Pakistan is, I think, very important. I'm doing very hard to speed up that project. That's the concrete project between the two countries.
Is there any cooperation in the defense sector also?
Defense sector, you see that defense sector, we have some training course. I think that we invite several Pakistani soldiers and people who work in defense sector to training in Korea. And sometimes we open that class for aviation skill. But as I was told that due to the pandemic, right now we are doing in online class like that. So I guess that in terms of training area, we have some project in defense area.
Hope soon this world normalize and we see the life back to the normal after overcoming this pandemic. Excellency, last but not the least, I would like to know about your personal experience in Pakistan, how you find your stay in Pakistan, what are the places that you like most if you have visited, and what are your favorite Pakistani cuisine?
Yeah, I have been here for 10 months. Already I visited 3 times Peshawar, 2 times Lahore, and last week I visited Skardu because I have some official affairs there. So just 2 days visit in Skardu. I was surprised to see that very beautiful scenery.
It's a beautiful place.
And yeah, so I hope that I can visit the other site. I mean that Gilgit and Hunja. And also right now I only visited in upper side of Pakistan. I mean that Peshawar and Lahore, but I hope that pretty soon I visit Karachi and other city in Pakistan. Pakistan has a beautiful territory here. So I like to see that everything in Pakistan. And you know, Pakistan people, they are very kind and very gentle to foreigners and to everybody. So I personally enjoy my life. Many Pakistani people invite me to some dinner and event. I'm enjoying myself here. But as I told you that my official life is very busy. So while I doing hard job for increasing our relation, and I'm trying to enjoy my life in Pakistan. I'm very happy to be here.
Have you tried any Pakistani cuisine, anything that you liked?
You know, Pakistani cuisine, I eat normally biryani and kebab, and I like that all the Pakistani food. They are similar to Korea, and our taste is not so different from Pakistan. And even though they say that Pakistani cuisine is spicy, but the Korean cuisine more spicy than the Pakistani cuisine, so I'm very comfortable to eat. And you know, fruit is here is very good quality. Fruit are very high quality, so mango and cherry and every fruit are high quality, and I enjoy that. And dessert. It's so sweet, but it's very delicious. So I'm enjoying the many Pakistani cuisines. I like that.
I also remember in Seoul when I went to the Buddhist restaurant, Kimchi, which, where the monks were the chef. So it was like, it was a lovely cuisine and it was so delicious to taste. Is there any Korean restaurant here in Islamabad?
Unfortunately, we had one, but due to the pandemic, they closed that restaurant. But I think that they reopened the restaurant in Islamabad, and in Lahore and in Seoul, in Karachi, we have.
Kimchi is quite popular.
Kimchi is a fermented food, so very healthy food. So some people like mochi. In Korea, kimchi is more spicy than we when we introduced the other country, because basically kimchi is spicy. But here in Pakistan, when they serve the kimchi, not so spicy, but still good for the Pakistani people and other foreign countries people. They like the kimchi, so we export. One of our main export is the kimchi also.
Thank you, Excellency. It was lovely talking to you and to learn about that how the Republic of Korea has progressed and what are the bilateral relations and what are the areas of cooperation. And I hope that exactly as you have said that the bilateral trade is not so impressive, but we see that it's getting better and better and we cooperate more in the area, because in today's world, economy is a key factor in determining the relations and bringing the countries together. Thank you, Excellency.